Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Are we live? Are we live? Is anybody there? Why is my pop-out chat? Alexa, shush. Here we go. Pop-out chat. That's what I need. La la la. Live chat. Here we go. I know there's people there. I can see you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? 10 points if you know where that comes from. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? Hey guys. Hello, hello, hello. Gosh, chat is going like whoosh at me. So I'm not going to be able to say hello to everybody individually, but hi. Welcome to the One Book July announcement stream. Have you noticed it's early this year? We're early this year because... Am I shouting? I've got an ear infection, so I'm deaf in one ear. I can't tell if I'm shouting or not. Anyway. Normally, the announcement comes up sort of 26th, 27th of July. But because the 1st of July is the middle of the week, it's not even that, it's the Thursday. So some people will be starting One Book July on the 28th because that's the Monday. Some might even start on the 27th if they run Sunday to Sunday. So rather than leave you hanging for a week, I decided I would put up the theme today. And then between the 24th and the 1st, the girls are going to do their own intro sessions. We're all going to do our own intro sessions for what we're going to do individually. And extra announcement that I'll tell you about in a minute. June. Did I say July? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Monday was the longest amount of sunlight we've had this year, and then Tuesday was the longest day we've ever had. Ever since, I think, March last year. Tuesday just went on forever. Okay, so while we're waiting for everybody to get here, because it's only 3 minutes past 4, we give everybody a little bit of leeway to be late. It's okay. So while we're waiting, let's do a quick rundown of the One Book July rules and regulations. Rule 1, there are no rules. Rule 2, if you must have rules, then your rule is 1 book, 1 pen, 1 month, and add whatever else you need as you go. The premise of One Book July is to get back to basics of your planning. Forget everything else. Forget all the stuff you've picked up over the year, the stuff that you've got sidetracked with, and just get back to the core of your planning system. Make sure it works. Make sure everything is running smoothly. And then you can go and do whatever the heck you want, in whatever the heck planner you want, in whatever the heck way you want, and everything should work smoothly because you know exactly what you're doing. You're not planning any differently. The core of my planning system is lists. I'm a list girl. If it ain't on a list, it ain't getting done. And if it ain't on today's list, it ain't getting done today. So, you know, everybody works in their own way, but we can all get sidetracked by, oh, must have the latest planner, must have the latest notebook, must have the latest gadget, this, that, and the other. Oh no, Tomoe River paper panic, whatever that's about. I don't like Tomoe River paper. I know, I said that out loud. I just don't like it, I'm sorry. More for the rest of you. Get your planning system working. Make sure you know where everything is, where you like to keep things. Is your index at the front of the book or the back of the book? Do you even need an index? Etc, etc, etc. And then add in the bits that you need. So we're basically, if you had to plan on a desert island, assuming you would need to plan. I mean, I assume you'd need to know when to plant crops and stuff. Or something. But on a desert island, what's the minimum you'd need to plan? And for most people, something to write on and something to write with, and perhaps a calendar, is about as much as you need. So get back to basics, whatever those basics are for you. The only thing we say is if there's something that is already working that is essential, such as a school planner, a work planner, a homeschooling planner, something like that, do not mess with it. Once you know what you're doing with your general plan and how you plan and all that kind of stuff, then you can go back into your nuts and bolts, I must have this or I will never get anything done planner, and update it or change it or move things about as you've learned what works for you. Okay? But don't just throw away the work planner and say, ha! One book, I don't need that one, when that's not going to work. That's not the point. The point is not to mess up your planning system. The point is to get back to the nuts and bolts of what you really need and make sure that everything else you add is just gravy. That it's not getting in the way, that it's not causing you more stress. That's One Book July. So, who's ready for an announcement? What the theme is? Well, I'm not telling you just yet. First off, let's introduce you to the team. And I didn't get the photos. Gosh darn it. I meant to get the photos. But all of my mods are here today, so I'm sure they will put links up for you, should you wish to use them. But also, if you follow us at One Book July on YouTube, One Book July, all one word, we have our own channel. Now, we don't upload videos there, so there's no point turning on notifications. But we do have playlists, and every year we set up a playlist. If you subscribe to the playlist and turn on your notification for that, every time we update it, you'll see it. Anytime you update gravy-themed washi tape. I like that idea. I like gravy. Bangers and mash and gravy. The Japanese will have thought of it. Somebody in Japan will have gone, English food, bangers and mash and gravy. Where were we? Focus. Focus. Do not get sidetracked. Okay. Where was I? One Book July YouTube channel. You can subscribe to playlists over there, but you will get more benefit if you subscribe directly to people, because that's how YouTube works. You got to feed the algorithm, etc., etc. But One Book July is a nice hub to get everything in one place. So, the team. Me. It's my fault. It's all my fault. It's my brainchild. And every year, I'm the one who says, ladies, it's nearly June. And everybody panics. And that's my role done. That's as much as it takes to run One Book July. I go, it's nearly June, guys. What are we going to do this year? And everybody goes, ah! Risha's going to see if she can find that washi tape. Excellent. If there is bangers and mash and gravy washi tape, I want it. Okay? There. Let that be a challenge for you. Okay, so the rest of the team. Obviously, right from the beginning, you know about Miss Vicky B and Carrie Harling. The three of us between us we cover the vast spectrum of what most people plan. I run my own business. I run classes. I am single. I don't have kids. I don't have all of that kind of stuff to do. But I do have a lot of things that I do for work. Carrie, I think she has a few side businesses that she does, but for the most part, she's homeschooling mum to, I don't know, about half a hockey team. And the other half of the hockey team is run by Mr. Kerry Harling, and she runs his clinic hours for him as well. It's like between them, they've got enough to make up an entire tournament, I'm pretty sure. So if you are one of those people who homeschools and books appointments and runs lots of things and has to colour code 50 ways from Sunday to know what anybody's doing, you might want to go and follow Carrie. She's also doing a read-along again this year, and I can't for the life of me remember what book she said she was doing, but she'll tell you. She'll tell you in her video. Miss Vicky B is kind of a mix of both. She is a mum of multiple, I think she's got 3 now, 2 girls and a boy. I knew Miss Vicky B before she had any kids. Isn't that crazy? I think her eldest just turned 8 or something, and I'm like, how is that even possible? Yeah, so she's a homeschooling mum. She's also a teacher. She also has a job. She's also a YouTuber. She also runs a Patreon. She's also creative. There's not much that Vicky doesn't do, to be honest, and how she fits it all into a day, I will never know. I'm assuming with her planner. And the way we plan is very different. Carrie is 99% planning and 1% a little bit of extra creativity here and there. I am 99% creativity, and occasionally I write a list on a post-it note. And yeah, I've given up planning, basically. 2020 sort of that. I'll fill you in. I'll fill you in my video. And then Vicky does everything. Vicky has a planner for this, a planner for that, a journal for this, a journal for that, another journal for that, another journal for that, another planner over there, a planner journal, a tracker journal, a this, or that, or what, one there, what. She's got about 50, and then she has Grand Central Station, which is her, if it's not in here, it doesn't exist. So she's kind of got a central hub kind of planning system going. So if that's you, Miss Vicky B is the person you want to follow primarily. I mean, obviously, you might want to dip in and out of all the videos. I'm just trying to give you an overview of who we all are so you have a better idea. Now, of course, 2 glaring omissions in that list. None of us doing digital planning. And that's how Mimi got roped in. Mimi from Everyday Awesome TV, she does digital planning. Now, she also does paper planning as a backup, and because she enjoys paper planning, but primarily her creative juices go into creating digital planners and digital systems and testing digital planners and digital systems. So if you've got anything that fits this year's theme that is digital that you want her to try out, she's multi-platform. She's got all the phones, she's got all the devices, she's got everything. If you want her to try something out, go tell her. Go let her know. I've got an app that I wanted to try out because I thought it was quite interesting. I wouldn't use it. I would forget to fill it in. But I thought it might be useful for some of you guys to see. So I'm going to send that to her and see what she thinks about it. And then, of course, we've got the other glaring... Oh, sorry, I meant to say Mimi also fits, I believe, into the working mum department. And then over on the singles side with me is Meg. She's known as Meg Journals on YouTube, but I don't think her surname is Journals. I don't actually know what Meg's surname is. But Meg Journals. Meg is a junk journaler, and she does the very well known now Junk Journal January and Junk Journal July. And because we needed somebody else who did something a bit more crafty, creative, less we do this as part of a business and more I do this because it's fun and I enjoy it, we roped Meg in. And also, Meg's a babby. Meg's a babby. How old do you know Meg? She's like 12 or something. She's not. She's like mid-20s, I think she is. But, you know, the rest of us are old. The rest of us are very old. Meg's a babby. So if you're like a student or you're much more creative, crafty side, but you still want to be organised and, you know, all that kind of stuff, Meg's your girl. And also, if planning doesn't float your boat and you just want to do some junk journaling or you just want to do some creating, go and join Junk Journal July, because I usually do the Junk Journal July prompts and just draw instead of doing junk journaling. My doorbell is ringing. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Doorbell rang, I had to go and answer it. Marianne, hi! How's Cape Town? Everybody's YouTube lists are, if you go to my channel, the recommended channels are all those YouTubers. And if you go to One Book July, all of those YouTubers' journal videos are all linked automatically over there. Whew. Sorry, just catching my breath. I can put the names under this video as well, but they're all already on. If you follow One Book July channel, they're all linked over there already. That's why we did it that way, so that there was one place for you to go. Whew. It wasn't an Amazon delivery, actually. It's not for me today. It was for upstairs. Meg's 24. See, I told you, she's a babby. Anyway, we decided that we were a bunch of old ladies, and since none of us, well, I'm single, but I don't have dependents or anything, but I still run my business mostly. I'm not really a youngster. Not really. Not at all a youngster, actually. But we decided that, you know, there was some planning stuff that perhaps the younger kids, sound like my mum, the youngsters, the under 30s might be interested in that didn't really apply to us older girls. So we roped in Meg, because Meg's a youngster. She's down with the kids. So between her and Mimi, who does the digital side and the apps and things, you should be covered. Plus, she only does creative stuff. She doesn't really do planning. Thank you, Mika. There's the One Book July link if you need it. If you subscribe to that channel, you can follow whichever playlist you want, or you can, if you go to the main channel page, there's the list of recommended channels, and everybody's linked there as well. So you can go and follow who you need. Don't forget also that if you do a One Book July video, make sure to put One Book July and One Book July 2021 in your title and in your tags in your video. I go through once a week and auto-populate all the playlists. So anybody who's done a video that's tagged as One Book July 2021 will automatically go into that playlist. If you are doing One Book July videos in a different language, not your foreign and you're doing them in English, but if you are literally doing them in a different language, please let me know, because I have an extra playlist that is for, I think we've got somebody who does Italian, Spanish and German. And we used to have somebody who did Japanese, but I don't think she's done it for the last couple of years. But if you are doing planning stuff in a foreign language and you're doing One Book July, let me know so that I can include you and keep an eye out for your videos. And I will also need to get in touch with you to get your links, because I'm good with the languages, but I'm not that good. Some people I can find what they're doing and link it up, and some people I can't. All right, is it announcement time? Let's get some chat going. Put your hand up in chat if you want to hear this year's announcement. I've been spending too much time over on Twitch, can you tell? Fill that chat, fill that chat. Nobody wants the announcement? Okay then. I won't bother telling you then. Oh, the lag on YouTube, the lag. Here we go. Here's some hands showing. Let me see a show of hands. Who wants this year's theme? This year's theme was suggested by a couple of my patrons, actually. I was chatting in class and happened to mention... Now, Sarah. Now. I happened to mention in class that we were doing One Book July again, but we didn't have a theme yet. And a couple of people mentioned the same or very similar themes. So, I've put their links down below as well in the description. Because Cody, you may know her from around Instagram as Cody Doll or Paper Is My Story. She goes under lots of different names. I lose track. But that's her main account. She suggested one thing, and then Burgess Taylor, who is a YouTuber and a Patreon creator as well, again, links down below, she also suggested something that went with it. So, this year's theme, and I believe we're on year 8. Might be on year 9 actually. It's version 7 anyway, because we've doubled up the theme. We've repeated themes a couple of times. Version 7 is routines and habits. Ooh, this is something we've never done before. Because none of us really do tracking. Carrie and I are both. We like the idea of trackers, but neither of us ever fills them in. Vicky has so many trackers, I don't know how she keeps up with them all. Meg doesn't really have trackers as such, but she does have tick lists, you know. So it's all a bit up in the air. What do you do? Do you need a tracker? Do you have a bullet journal? I mean, if you've got a bullet journal and you've got all the pretty trackers, then that's a different thing. But if you're not bullet journaling in a pretty bullet journal, how are you tracking stuff? Do you need to track stuff? Should you track stuff? How do you create a habit? We know all the rules, don't we? You have to do something for 28 days to make it a habit. It's got to be more than 28 days for me. I can do something for 28 days and I still won't make it a habit. I'll still just suddenly stop doing it one day. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Routines. Habits. How do you track what you need to do when? Repetitive tasks. This is especially important for those of us who have Patreon, because a lot of us have repetitive tasks every single month that we have to do for Patreon. Most people with a job have repetitive tasks. Anybody who's a stay-at-home anything has repetitive tasks. Even if you don't have anything like that, you still have repetitive tasks like get the car serviced. And the longer the period between the repetitive tasks, the easier it is to forget to do them, right? If you've only got to do it once every 3 years, you know, Let's ask everybody, all Americans, do you know when the last time you cleaned your air filters was? Do you? No, exactly. If you didn't do it in the last few weeks, or recently, which could be anything as far back as before Christmas, you might not have any idea when you last did it. How do you keep track of that? Where do you put it so that you don't look at it and go, well, I know I wrote the date down, but where did I write it down? I don't know. And for those of you who don't plan, we also have myself and Meg and half of Miss Vicky B, because a lot of what she does is creative as well. How do you keep creative? How do you make that a habit? How do you fit that into the time that you have? How do you make a routine out of making sure you journal? Notice I didn't say making sure you journal every day. I don't think journaling every day is a requirement unless you make it a requirement. See, the people who know they've done it either write it down and know where they've written it, do it on a regular basis every 6 months, have just done it, or have a reason to make sure they stay on top of it. See? Everybody else is like, I don't know, air filters? Oh yeah, we've got air conditioning. I suppose we should check the air filters. You know? If you don't have a reason to remember it, the chances are you're not really going to know. Creating a habit, creating a routine. All of that stuff, you know, some people have to track whether they've showered, whether they've done the laundry, whether the PE kits are due this week, whether they've washed the dishes. Some people have to do that to stay on top of it. Maintenance does it, by which you mean hubby. That's not my department. Your mum puts everything on a wall calendar. That's still planning. It's still planning and tracking. The thing about routines is that you can have routines without planning. I've recently switched from having a bullet journal, which was planning in advance, to simply having routines instead. Because if I have an appointment, I put it on the calendar, on my digital calendar, because if I didn't put it on my digital calendar, my phone wouldn't ring, and then I wouldn't remember to get up early that day, so I wouldn't go to bed early the day before, and then somebody would be ringing me at about 11 o'clock going, why aren't you here? You were supposed to be here half an hour ago. So, you know, I use a digital calendar. All of my appointments go in Google. If I have to be somewhere, or I have to go somewhere, or somebody's coming to be here and expecting me to be here, it goes on a calendar, because how else do you organise anything? When we did the bullet journal year, actually we did bullet journal twice. When we did the first bullet journal year, one thing we discovered that we hadn't noticed before is that actually Ryder says in his book, and it's like a throwaway line that you wouldn't notice otherwise, he says all his appointments and everything go onto his calendar. And we're like, oh, hang on a minute. So you have a separate calendar where you organise all that sort of stuff that's outside your bullet journal. Apparently he uses a digital calendar, probably for the same reasons as me, to be honest. Yeah, opticians appointments. Oh my God, they're like every 2.5 years or something. What kind of a routine is that? Who remembers until they can no longer see? You know, nobody. Nobody remembers when their eye appointments are. Nobody remembers when their dental checkups are unless they go every 6 months. The only thing I ever remember is the dog's vet things. Because that's important. And they have to go every July. And they can't make the appointment, so I have to do it, so I have to remember. But that's the only thing I ever have to remember. Everything else, eventually somebody tells me that something's due sometime. Even the taxes, I get a letter saying your taxes are due X, Y, and Z. I'm like, excellent. I'll put that on the calendar. So, anyway, getting back to... So, planning in terms of routines, tracking, creating habits, morning routines, evening routines, that kind of thing. How do you go about tracking something that you have to do every month or every day, or, you know, what works for you? How do you take control of your time in terms of making sure that you know how long you've spent on things? That's especially especially important if you do freelance work, because you have to know how much time you've spent on a project. How do you track that? Is there a good way of tracking it? Is there a better way of tracking it? All that kind of stuff. Many of us rely on just ticking off lists. And all I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with ticking off lists. I tick off lists too. But perhaps it's time to look at it and go, well, does that work for me? Is there a better way? Is there a quicker way? Ah, so your mum has a to-do list, as Eveline calls it. A list of everything you've done instead of a list of everything you want to do. That's a good idea. Yeah, my mum does things like that. She'll note down if she's, like, turned the mattresses or something, so that she knows when to do it again. And things like that, you know. My mum has the Great English Dairy Diary book, and everything goes in it. Everything. If it's not in the Dairy Diary, it's not getting done. Anyway. So, in terms of what each of us is doing, like I said, Mimi is digital, so she's going to be trying out different apps and things. She's going to be coming up with her own tracking systems, trying out different things, and so on. So if you have suggestions, go and let her know. Carrie is doing a read-along. Actually, I wonder if it says on my phone. Meg, do you remember what Carrie said she was doing for her read-along? Read-along. Oh, here it is. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Gleanne, hi! Atomic Habits by James Clear. Sorry. As far as I know, that's what she's decided to do. She hasn't said she's doing anything different. And usually once she decides what she's going to do, she knows roughly what she's going to do before she even starts. And then she goes with it. So, and if not, you know, you've got 10 days before One Book July actually starts. If you want to go and read that, apparently it's a good book if you want to create habits. So Carrie will be doing that. For anybody who perhaps doesn't do habits, or thinks they should, or do you need habits? Atomic Habits. Thanks, Meg. Meg was off looking it up as well. And then we had lag. You were probably faster than me, but YouTube isn't. Yeah, Atomic Habits, James Clear. I haven't read the book. I might do Carrie's read along actually, because I think I could do with looking at mine. I mean, I've really only just started working by habit rather than habit and routine, but no, we'll see. Basically, I'm using routines and habits instead of planning. So far, it's working. It worked for most of last year, and that's where I got the idea from. So hopefully I'll be able to explain it so that it's not clear as mud, in case any of you guys want to try it. Miss Vicky B, as I said, is the queen of tracking. Track all the things. I don't know if she's particularly routine-y. Yeah, most people say it takes 21 or 28 days of doing the same thing to make it a habit, but to be honest, I could do it for 60 days and then suddenly wake up one day and just not bother doing it again, ever. So I don't think it works for everybody, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to be looking at... I said what I was going to be looking at. Miss Vicky B. I said Miss Vicky B. Who did I miss? Meg! Meg is doing creative habits. And I think this is a really important one, especially at the moment. How do you make sure that you keep your creative habits going? How do you make sure you've got that 5 minutes or 10 minutes? So often people say, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that. I wish I had time to do that. I don't have time to do that. I got totally distracted there. I'm sorry. My lights started flashing and it just... Shiny. Yeah, Meg's going to be talking about creating habits, as in being creative and fitting that into your day. Good creative habits. She will no doubt look at things like posture and organisation and things like that, because they're all really important. And you'll find some of that in mine as well, because I've actually integrated into part of my routines exercise. Very important. But not exercise as in go to the gym kind of exercise. I mean exercise as in, oh, I've been sat painting up my desk for 2.5 hours, I really ought to move. You know, healthy habits for being creative and things like that. It does depend on the book or article you read, but honestly, more than that, I think it depends on the person. If it's a habit that you naturally want to do, you're going to be more naturally inclined to do it, so it might only take a week. If it's a habit like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or with the sunrise or whenever crazy time of day it is you want to get out of bed, and you're a night owl, that is going completely against the grain of what you do. I don't really understand people who don't have to go out to a day job or have a certain specific time that they need to work or anything like that, who force themselves up to get up at 5 a.m. so they've got more time in their day. Guess what? If you get up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m., that's no different than staying up till 2 a.m. instead of going to bed at midnight. It's still 2 hours. It's what you do with your 2 hours and how creative you can be in that 2 hours, or productive you can be in that 2 hours. For me, I'm a night owl. I would rather be working from 10 till 7 every day and then stay up late and not roll out of bed until about 9:30 the next morning, because me and mornings, we just don't. But that's me. If you're a morning person, getting up at 5 a.m. might be just the thing you need to have that extra hour of quiet time before the kids wake up. You know? And this is why routines and repetitive tasks and things like that are important. Because it doesn't have to be at a set time every day to be a routine. Meg journals and sketches for at least half an hour most days, unless she absolutely cannot find time to do it. But I bet she doesn't do it at the same time every day. She doesn't run home from work and go, right, I'm going to have my tea and then I'm going to do half an hour of journaling. That's not how it works. She just integrates her half an hour into her day. I do the same with doing my crafts that are not work related. I'm an artist by profession and I teach art. But I've taken up sewing so that I've got a hobby that isn't always just colouring in. And somehow I have to fit that into my day. You know, you just, if you want to get up early, move to Japan and leave the curtains open. Oh, I swear the sun came up this morning before it even went down. No, I think we had a night time last night. I don't remember it being dark at any point. It's really weird. Yeah, I have blackout curtains. I'm not rolling out of bed before 10 a.m. unless there's money in it. And even then, it's not guaranteed if I can do it later in the day. Have I covered everybody? Carrie's doing the read along. Meg's doing creative stuff. Miss Vicky B is doing tracking and corralling multiple planners, which is kind of a routine in itself. Mimi's doing digital apps and stuff like she usually does, and I'm doing whatever. I've become the anti-planner. So if 1 book July is perhaps not your thing anymore, and you're more like 1 post-it note, I might be able to help you there. Yeah, 5 a.m. doesn't exist for me unless I have to go somewhere. If I have to like be up and go on a trip or something, I can do 5 a.m. But I'd have to go to bed at like 6 p.m. the night before. If I've got to get up early, I need an extra half hour of sleep at least. For every hour I need to get up earlier than normal. Because there's not enough coffee in the world, frankly. "21 days might work for things like getting up on X day, but not so much for learning to do something." Yes. Because we all learn at different speeds. You don't need a tracker to hold yourself accountable. Yeah. Some people don't, some people do. Again, it's different ways of doing things. I've been doing, I am actually on day, what day am I on? Hang on. See, I can't even remember that. And I've tried writing it down multiple ways from Sunday and I just can't do it. I am on day, so that was Midsummer Sunset. That was the 22nd, 23rd today. I'm on day 110 of a 365-day making art for myself challenge. And I've done it every day. There's something about it. I for some reason, because it's long term and it's 365 days, there's not that panic or easy give up of 300 of like a 30-day challenge. You do a 30-day challenge, you get halfway through, you miss 3 days, you're like, well, that's nearly a week, I might as well stop now. But there's something about missing a couple of days in a 365-day challenge where you're just like, well, yeah, okay, I've missed 2 days, but if I do 2 today and 2 tomorrow, and I just make them quicker sketches, then I've still done it. I've caught up. So, yeah, it can depend on your mindset. It can depend on how much motivation you need, how self-motivated you are, how much you want to do it or don't want to do it. No money on earth could make me get up at 5 a.m. every day for the rest of my life. It's just never going to happen. Don't even ask. You set a phone alarm for your daily challenges. I do too. If I have an alarm that goes off at 6 p.m. and it literally says on my phone, "What haven't you done?" Because 6 p.m. is an hour before I finish work. So if it's a work thing, I've got time to start it. And if it's a non-work thing, I've got time to plan to do it after work. But 6 p.m. every day, my phone goes off and says, "What haven't you done?" And every day I can go, "Ooh, well, I've done my daily challenge. Oh, but I didn't post it on Instagram." If my phone didn't remind me about things, or Betty over here, this is Betty. I don't think you can see Betty, but Betty looks incredibly like one of those things that you get off Amazon. But I can't say her name because she starts doing stuff. She reminds me about all sorts of things. She will just pop up and say, "Don't forget about such and such." She even does my shopping lists these days. I just ask her to add it to the shopping list, and it appears on my phone, and I'm like, yay, awesome. So, right, so there you go. Not much more to say, really, except the fun announcement that I mentioned at the beginning. Did I mention I did that there was going to be an extra little announcement at the end? Next week, hopefully, next week, Wednesday, I think it's tentatively arranged for 6 p.m, which my time. So currently it's 4:45. So it will be an hour and a quarter after whatever time you're on now. We are going to do a live Zoom Q&A. You don't have to be in Zoom. I will stream it to YouTube. But so far, all of us except Mimi have checked in. We're not sure what time zone Mimi's in. But Mimi's fairly flexible usually, so I don't see any reason why she wouldn't be there. But everybody else can make it. So tentatively, we're fixed for 6 p.m. BST. That's British summertime, UK time, which is currently GMT +1. I don't know what that is in Americanese. All I know is that my friend in Philadelphia is 5 hours behind me. You do the rest of the maths. Okay? Because I can't. As soon as we know exactly what day it is, what time it is, we will put it on. Well, it'll probably come to my. Well, I'll be setting it up, so it'll come to my channel. So make sure you're following me if you want to get a notification for that thing. Your anti-time constraints. As soon as someone tells you the time, you're like, no, not happening. Yeah. I'm not anti-time constraints. I'm anti... Oh, well, am I anti? No. It's not really anti. This is what happens, okay? Somebody will come to me and say, I need you to do this. And any chance you could get it done by Friday? I know it's pushing it a little bit, but can you do it by Friday? And my answer will be, I can give it a try, but I'm not promising anything. What time Friday? And whatever time they tell me they want it Friday, it will be done by then. Not 1 minute before. And no matter how far in the future that thing is, if it's going to take me 2 hours, I will do it in the 2 hours before the deadline. You could give me 5 years and I will still write it just before the deadline. The instant gratification monkey is strong in me. There is a TED talk about procrastination. Tim Ferriss, I think it is, where he talks about the instant gratification monkey and the deadline monster. That is my world. Yeah. We do everything last minute. It's the Calvin and Hobbes method. You have to wait for creativity to strike. And Hobbes says, when does that happen? No. You can't. Calvin says, you can't just do things. You have to wait for the right moment. And Hobbes says, well, what's that called? And Calvin says, last minute panic. Functional procrastination. Exactly, Marie. There's nothing like a deadline to get me moving. If you don't give me a deadline, it's never going to happen. If I have a deadline, it's going to happen right before the deadline. It doesn't matter how long you give me to do it. My boss at the college where I used to work very quickly learned that no matter what she wanted, and no matter what she needed it for, or when she wanted it, she would always say, I need it by Friday at 3 o'clock. And then she would make up a reason like, oh, I've got to do some work on it myself over the weekend, or I've got a meeting first thing Monday, or, you know, I've got to use those figures to do something myself. So I need it by Friday at 3 o'clock. And she'd get it at Friday at 3 o'clock, but I would start it at lunchtime on Friday. Yeah, it's always done. It's always done. My dad has this... Oh, what was that? Your husband opens the front in the hop should be quicker. It'll take longer on purpose. Do you mean if your husband waits out the front at shops? You're hoping you'll be quicker. You'll take longer on purpose. My dad has this theory that however long you plan to do something in, that's how long it'll take. So if you plan to do it in an hour and a half, that's how long it'll take you to do it. If you plan to do it over 3 days, for 4 days, 4 hours every day, then that's how long it'll take you. The thing expands to the time allocated to it. It's some kind of philosophy thing. No, not in my world. It'll all just get done 5 minutes before it's due. When I start to panic that I might be running out of time, that's when I'll start doing it. Oh, opens the front door. Ah, there you go. There was a word missing. Right, okay. That makes sense. Your husband opens the front door in the hopes you'll be quicker and you take longer on purpose. Yeah. I'm one of those people who can just be up and ready to go in about 5 minutes. So I'm usually the one sitting waiting for everybody else. Anyway, I have other things to do today, so I can't stay and hang around and chat. I wish I could today, but I can't. Sorry. We're busy. We're doing Solstice Chronicles. And there's a lot. There's a lot to do. I've got to go and do my walk and collect some flowers and things. So I will leave it there for now. Between the, like I say, the Thursday and Thursday, so between the 24th and the 1st, everybody else's videos will be coming out, and my intro video as well, where I'll talk a bit more about what I've been doing. I'm doing an awful lot of planning in my head and relying on routines to make sure that I get things done. And it seems to be working. I too have a wall calendar. It's right up there, and that's what I was looking at. Because I got fed up of having to pull a planner out every 5 minutes when I needed to know what the date was. Or what, the older I get, the harder it is to remember what the date is on Wednesday. I don't know if that's a function of getting older, not paying attention, or just an aftermath of 2020 when nobody had any idea what day or date it was at any time. But if I've gradually become very aware of the fact that if it's not either ringing to remind me I'm supposed to be doing something or right in front of my face, it's not getting done. So, bye-bye bullet journal. Did I finish that thought? I may not have finished that thought. Let me just reiterate. Next week, we're doing a live Q&A on my channel. So you need to be subscribed here if you want to get a notification. But I will also post it on One Book July like I did today. I will post a thing with the link on One Book July. We are going to be on Zoom. So if you have questions for us, please let us know. Particularly relating to routines, planning, planning for repetitive tasks, habits, tracking, that kind of thing. So keep it theme related or we'll be here all day. And if possible, have a vague idea of who you want to ask. It's perfectly okay to ask a question from the whole team just to get a variety of answers, but if you have a particular question you want to ask Vicky, then please let us know that that's who you want to ask. You can comment your questions down below if you already have questions. So, like for instance, if you have a question for Vicky, just put Q for Vicky and then your question, and I will collate them together. So we've got some that they can answer in advance, and I've got some that we can answer from the live chat, because it's very difficult to follow live chat and do this at the same time. It's going to be even harder with 5 people, so we'll do what we can. But if you can put questions in advance in the description below here, in the description, in the comments below, and who that question's for, that would be really helpful. And I will take Sarah's suggestion of putting the information in the description of who the team is and what parts they're relating to. So if you missed the information in the chat and you just want to put a question, but you're not sure who's dealing with the digital stuff, then I will put the information in the description for you. The questions, yeah, put them in the comments below. Sorry, I think that's lag, Risha. Yeah, if you've got questions, put them in the comments below. Or if you've got a question and you'd rather, for whatever reason, sometimes people don't want to leave their name, you can DM the person. You know, if you follow Carrie on Instagram and you have a question for next week, just DM her and let her know you've got a question for next week and what it is. You know, there's no harm in that either. And if it's just a general question, then just put your question in the comments and I'll collate them all together. I don't know how long next week will take, but I'm hoping no longer than about an hour, hour and a half. Because we all have lives to lead, and even for myself and Meg, an hour and a half is a big chunk of the day. I can't imagine what it's like if you've got an entire football team's worth of kids. Like Carrie. Oh, anyway. So, see you for One Book July, starting 1st of July if you want to, or 28th of June if you're happier, or 27th if you're happier doing a Sunday or Monday start and having your weeks all together. Do that too. Totally fine. And of course, don't forget, you can go over to the One Book July channel. All of the previous versions are listed there in the playlists. They will be listed in this year's playlist as soon as I set it up. And if you want to do a previous version, if you think, oh, you know what, I actually fancy doing bullet journaling this year, go off and do it. It's fine. Do a different version. We don't care. You don't have to do what we're doing just because we're doing it. Do what works for you. Okay. That's it. I'm going. Thanks for joining me, guys. Looking forward to this year. It's a really interesting one because we've never, ever touched on routines, repetitive tasks, habits, creative things. We've never done that. We've never done it. So, a hockey team, yeah. A hockey team seems more appropriate for Carrie, yeah. That's what I said earlier. She's got one half of the hockey team and her husband's got the other. Thank you, Mika. There's the link to the One Book July channel if you want to go and follow there. Everybody's videos go over there. And don't forget to tag your video with One Book July 2021. Same on Instagram, One Book July 2021. If you want people to be able to see your work that you're doing, or, you know, some people do live chats and videos over there because they don't use YouTube. So please do, and make sure you tag us, because we follow the hashtag for the whole month, and we will share your stuff. If we see your stuff, we'll share it. Okay, thanks guys. See you next week for some more fun with One Book July. I can't believe it's July already. It's ridiculous. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. See you again soon. Bye.